Let's face it, your dad's a boomer. He falls asleep in the 7th inning, he calls into the radio station, and he hates the manager. This is what dads do. But even your dad has a favorite player. He might not say that he does. He might say something like, "Son, you've been watching ball as long as I have. You learn to only care about the wins and losses." But deep down, there's one guy on the team that makes him genuinely happy every time he steps up to the plate or mound. This is an exercise in finding that player. The best way to approach this problem is to invert it and think about the things your dad hates. Now this list, of course, is potentially never ending, but hopefully we can capture enough of a filter to start narrowing it down at least. Your dad hates pitchers who don't throw strikes, guys who can't play defense, guys who strike out with runners on, guys who strike out with no runners on, guys who think too much at the plate, guys who walk too much, the DH, every reliever, launch angle, the manager, analytics, West Coast games, the announcer, and the umpire. Now I'm fully aware that the last 6 things on this list don't actually involve a player at all. But it wouldn't be a true dad list if we didn't forget our train of thought halfway through. So they stay. Okay, so we have a decent idea of who your dad doesn't like, and this helps us eliminate a bunch of players right out of the gate. For one thing, a lot of the best hitters are now off the table, because they're either a DH or they can't play defense. These are guys like Shohei, Schwarber, Soto, and Sal Perez. We're also losing some pretty electric relievers. The Josh Haders, Andres Munoz, Yohan Durans of the world. And unfortunately, it turns out that a lot of good hitters strike out. Mike Trout, Cal Raleigh, Rafael Devers are some that come to mind off of that list. But that's okay, because there's still a ton of talent out there. Okay, let's move on to the guys your dad likes. The tricky part about this is that your dad isn't just going to come out and say who he likes. That would mean expressing something verbally, which is about as rare as him remembering the Wi-Fi password. What you'll want to do instead is observe him in his natural habitat. Pay attention to the mumbles, the speeches made to no one but the dog, and the analogies that make no sense. These are the clues that will help lead you to his favorite player. Now you tell me if you've heard any of these spoken in your house before. He's a tough out. He dives for every ball. He doesn't try to do too much. He hits the ball where it's pitched. He's not flashy. His uniform's always dirty. He doesn't care about his own stats. He doesn't launch angle. He's gutsy. So, how do we find these players? I mean, there's not exactly a boomer filter that we can sort by on Fangraphs or Baseball Savant. At least, not yet. But I think we can effectively get around this with some creative searching. For example, your dad likes high effort, high baseball IQ guys. So what we can do is search for something like stolen bases by sprint speed. If you're stealing bases with average or below average speed, you are definitely a candidate for a dad's favorite player. Okay, I just ran the search and we got 3 good examples of this. But the best example is Mr. Kyle Tucker the first, maybe. I don't know if he's the second or third. He had 25 stolen bases in 2022 and a 30 burger in 2023. And he was in the 33rd percentile for sprint speed. The other notable examples I found are Paul Goldschmidt and Freddie Freeman. Now, if you remember all the way back to the 2011-2012 days, Paulie Goldschmidt was actually pretty fast. But Freddie Freeman was never fast. And he was still able to swipe like 100 bases for his career. So those are 3 good examples. But we're definitely going to want to cast a little bit of a wider net than just 3 players. So let's go to the next search. Okay, the next search we got is pitches per plate appearance. And the thought process here was very simple. Guys that have a high number of pitches per plate appearance are just annoying hitters. Pitchers hate pitching against these guys because they just take a lot of pitches, they foul off a lot of pitches, they walk a lot, maybe they slap a ball down the line. They're just frustrating. And ding, 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 this translates immediately to a tough out, as dads like to say. And the best example of this was Matt Olson. He's been top 5 in this category for the last 3 seasons. Here's the thing about Olson, though. Here's the thing. He doesn't strike out a lot, but he does walk a lot. So I don't know if dads are going to vibe with him. Outside of Olson, though, we have a couple other good examples. Bryson Stott, who currently leads the majors in pitches per plate appearance, ticks a lot of the boxes as he plays a solid second base. He doesn't really strike out or walk a lot. And he wouldn't be considered a flashy player, even though everyone knows his walk-up song. I don't know if that makes for a flashy player, but I don't think it does. Then we move down the list a little bit, and we got guys like Cedric Mullins, Jonathan Aranda, Mason Wynn, Bryce Turang. Definitely fits the profile. Certainly well-rounded, but not particularly good at anything. And actually, you know what? That's probably even better for a dad's favorite player. That actually works in his favor. We got to keep an eye on him. In my head, not trying to do too much and hitting the ball where it's pitched are interchangeable. They're one and the same. And of course, there's not a specific stat for this, but we do have spray data. So for instance, Cal Raleigh, he leads the majors in pulling fly balls. But we don't want that. We want to find the guy who's as league average in every batted ball directional category as possible. So what we're going to do is export this data, pop it into ChatGPT, and we're going to ask it, who is the most average player in this data set across all categories? And now we wait, and now we wait. And now we wait for the AI to take my job. Okay, the most average player in this data set across all categories is Ramon Urias. He got the lowest total deviation. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll be the judge of that. All right, 17.4, 17. Yeah, he's right there with pretty much all the league average categories. If we look at his spray chart, it's pretty balanced. This is kind of what we're going for here. So like if this ball is pitched away, yeah. So this ball is pitched away and he hits the other way. That's like exactly what we're looking for. Can we find one of him pulling the ball? Let's see. He doesn't really hit for a ton of power. Doesn't really hit in general, if I'm going to be honest. Okay, he's got some pop. Ramon's got some pop. Okay. He's a good fielder. He's a very average base runner. 31 years old, 5'9". Okay, I see it. All right, let's look. There's got to be some runners up. Okay, Jung-Hoo Lee. We got Jung-Hoo Lee, Brenton Doyle, Brett Beatty, Cameron Meisner, Xander Bogaerts. Okay, let's look at Jung-Hoo Lee. Solid player, does everything well. Sprays the ball all over the place, yeah. I mean, I can see that. Lefty on lefty against Reed Detmers, just slapped it the other way. Hell yeah. Jung-Hoo Lee's a good one. I really like Jung-Hoo Lee. Hits for a higher average, doesn't walk a lot, doesn't slug a crazy amount, but like you can see from his profile, he doesn't swing and miss a lot. He's got a good strikeout percentage. You can see he doesn't hit the ball. He doesn't hit the ball crazy hard, but he's still got a decent offensive profile overall. Plays defense. He's a dad's guy. He's a dad's player. And then we got Brenton Doyle, Brett Beatty. Oh God! All right, Brenton Doyle is actually a terrible hitter, so I don't know if we want to take him. I don't know if we can take him. Brett Beatty's got a better profile. You can tell he hits the ball a lot more all over the field, but he strikes out a ton and he doesn't really walk, so we don't like that. Here's what we're gonna do: we're gonna take Ramon Urias and we're gonna take Jung-Hoo Lee. And since we haven't gotten any pitchers yet, let's try to get a pitcher query going. Okay, you asked for pitchers. I am going to deliver the pitchers. I don't know. Okay, remember, your dad doesn't like pitchers that throw balls, which ipso facto means he does like pitchers that throw strikes. So those are the ones we got to search for. Position. Starting pitcher. Remember, your dad hates relievers for no apparent reason. So we gotta filter starting pitchers only. We'll do 2025. That's fine. Pitch result. So swing and miss. That'll be anything that's a strike. Foul. Called strike. I think that's probably a strike. In play. That's technically a strike. Okay, we want to sort by pitch percentage because we're trying to get like strike percentage here. Let's sort a minimum number of total pitches. We'll just do an arbitrary number, 500. Whatever. Let's just go with it. All right, what do we got? Okay, Tarek Skubal. Not surprising that he leads the league in strike percentage. He's like the best pitcher in baseball. Hunter Green also having an insanely good year. Kyle Freeland sucks, but he tries, He's giving maximum effort. You can't fault him for that. Spencer Schwellenbach, he's also having a really good year. Brian Wu, he's an up-and-coming pitcher. He's really good. Okay, so that's 5 really good pitchers there. I think this list in general, top 15 is really good. We got DeGrom in there. We got some new names. We got Liberatore. This is a really solid list. I say we grab the top 5 and we just move on to the next search. Okay, for the final search, I want to tackle the he doesn't launch angle trait. And this one should be the easiest out of them all because there's literally a stat called launch angle sweet spot percentage, which basically just means that they hit the ball between 8 and 32 degrees, which is technically like the ideal launch angle. I think it's fine if we start at the top with the guys who are the best at this with one caveat. And that's we also need to find a guy who hits a ton of line drives because we don't want a guy who is high in launch angle sweet spot and also high in fly ball percentage because then I think that gets into the territory of he's trying to lift the ball. He's trying to hit home runs all the time, which is really what your dad's trying to say when he says he launch angles. That's what he's trying to say. So Zach McKinstry is the best at this. He's 47.5%. The worst is Jose Altuve, which is kind of funny. Although he does hit kind of a lot of ground balls, and he's having a really bad year, so I guess that makes sense. So Zach McKinstry leads the league in this stat. But let's see who leads the league in line drive percentage. Okay, it's also Zach McKinstry. So McKinstry is definitely going to be a guy we want to take from this. Let's take McKinstry, Freeman, Seiya, Harper, and Lennon Sosa. Those guys all have very high line drive percentage and high sweet spot percentage. Okay, let's take a look at the list that we have now. 13 batters and 5 pitchers. But we have to whittle it down to one of each. And so here's what I propose. One stat to rule them all. With a tiebreaker, of course. We're just going to go straight to the heart of a dad's mind. Batting average. Every dad loves batting average. It doesn't matter that the year is 2025 and that batting average doesn't mean anything anymore. He still loves it, and he still needs to see a number 3 at the start of it. So that's going to be what we filter by. Okay, so I popped the hitters into Fangraphs, and here we go. There are 3 batters out of that list that are currently batting over 300. So that is the list we are now choosing from. Here's the tiebreaker. Ready for it? Height. A dad loves a scrappy player. So this player has to be under 6 feet tall. Okay, Freddie Freeman, 6'4". He's not even close. He's already out. Paul Goldschmidt, 6'2". He's gone. Oh, Aranda's 6 feet tall. Okay. Oh, that sucks. Okay, the height tiebreaker did not work. We need to go to the second tiebreaker, and I think we should just do games played. Are you durable? Are you playing all of your team's games? All right, here we go. Drum roll, please. Games played. Paul Goldschmidt. Okay, Paul Goldschmidt is the collective dads of America's favorite player. I'm sorry, it's just science. So we brought out the big guns by using batting average for hitters, and now we're going to do the same for pitchers, but we're going to use arguably the most boomer stat that ever existed and ever will exist, and that is pitcher wins. This will be the deciding factor. Whoever has the most wins out of these 5 pitchers will be crowned the collective dad's favorite pitcher. All right, so we're not going to use advanced stats Fangraphs. That would give us a clear winner, which is Tarik Skubal with a 1.84 FIP and a 33% K percentage. I mean, he's going to win Cy Young again. Okay. When I click standard, it will show me wins. Let's see. They don't even show wins on here anymore. I can't even get it from Fangraphs. All right, I guess I got to click into each player. Tarik Skubal, he has 6 wins. He's 6-2. I mean, okay. Spencer Schwellenbach is 4-4. Kyle Freeland is 1-8. All right, let's just cancel out of him. Cancel out of Schwellenbach. Hunter Green, 4 wins. Okay, it's going to come down to Bryan Woo. Does Bryan Woo have more than 6 wins? Can he beat out Tarik Skubal? He's got 5. Tarik Skubal is your dad's favorite pitcher in the year 2025. So there you have it. We have Paul Goldschmidt and Tarik Skubal. I think those are good selections. The data, or should I say, the data has spoken.